Hi, I'm Nick and I like comics. Welcome to another episode of Imperius Arcs, where we cover story arcs and other comic-related tidbits to better inform and nerdify the world. Today I'm by myself to chat about the issues with comics, a follow-up to our How to Get Into Comics episode. Now when I say issues, I don't mean problems in comics, though Lord knows these books have a lot of issues. I literally mean the types of issues of comics. Off the top of my head, I can think of ongoings, annuals, one-shots, limited series, crossovers, tie-ins, trade paperbacks, and graphic novels. And I'm sure I'm missing something. So when I got into comics, I had a really tough time understanding the different types of issues and how they affected what I read. I automatically thought that if a comic had the name Batman on the front of it, I absolutely had to read it in order to know what was going on, which isn't necessarily true. So to clear up any confusion when you jump into comics, I'm here to explain the different types of comic issues. Now, one of my favorite shows of all time is The Simpsons, and I thought that I could make some analogies from the show into comics to help my explanation. So without further ado, let's talk about comic issues. First, you have ongoing titles. Now these are going to be the most popular type of comic that you will see on the shelves. Ongoing titles are the comics that are released regularly. The most popular release form for ongoings is monthly, but you also have some that are released twice a month. For instance, The Amazing Spider-Man, Deadpool, and Invincible Iron Man. Strangely enough, Marvel seems to do this a lot more than DC. Rarely, there are weekly ongoing titles, like Batman and Robin Eternal or Wolverines. If I'm going to equate ongoing titles with The Simpsons, these are going to be the seasons of the show. They continually happen and have been going on for quite a long time, and after a while, there are a lot of them. Going hand in hand with ongoing titles are trade paperbacks or trades. Now many people get confused when they see trades and call them graphic novels. Well, trades or trade paperbacks are not necessarily graphic novels. Trade paperbacks take a collection of an ongoing title and put them into one hard or paperback book. So, if an ongoing title is the season of The Simpsons, trade paperbacks would be, for example, Season 1, Disc 1 of the DVD, a small collection of the overall story. Typically, trades contain story arcs from the ongoing title. Next, we have annuals and one-shots. Now, annuals and one-shots are different, but for explanation purposes, they function similarly. Annuals have their own numbering system and typically add on to the major story, but the information is usually background. For instance, in the current as of filming this episode, main Batman book, Jim Gordon has just become Batman and Bruce Wayne has no memory of his time as Batman. Bruce has lost his money and Wayne Manor. So, in Batman Annual number 4, Bruce goes to Arkham Asylum to potentially make it his new home, and while inside gets in a fight with the Riddler, Mr. Freeze, and Clayface. Now, while this story does not have an effect on the major story arc of the main Batman title, it is cool background knowledge. For the most part, this is how annuals are, though there are some exceptions, like Astonishing X-Men Annual 1 wraps up a major story arc from Astonishing X-Men. One-shots are viewed quite the same. Stories that add to the overall universe, but if you miss them, you'll be okay. In regards to The Simpsons, annuals and one-shots are going to be like the Halloween specials. They don't come out very often, but typically, they are pretty cool and enjoyable. If you miss them, you're still going to be okay and know what's going on in the story. Limited series are usually a 4 to 12 comic arc that is a special story. They really don't have a place within a certain book, so a new limited series title is created. Some of the more popular limited series stories over the past few years have been Forever Evil, Avengers vs. X-Men, and currently, as of filming this, Secret Wars. These big limited story events usually have a major effect on the overall comic universe. For example, Cyclops kills Professor X at the end of Avengers vs. X-Men. So if you didn't read this limited story, it's possible you would be very confused when you pick up the Marvel Now Uncanny X-Men number 1. This was really the only thing that I couldn't relate to The Simpsons, which is too bad, so sorry. Crossovers are stories that take place over multiple titles. Recent stories like the Trinity War, which took place in Justice League of America, and Justice League Dark, or the Black Vortex, which included several X-Men and Guardians of the Galaxy titles, are considered crossovers. The ideas behind crossovers is that it will get readers into new titles. So when I pick up all new X-Men and then see that the story is continued in Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel hopes that I will then add Guardians to my pull. In the Simpsons world, an example of a crossover is that one time when the Simpsons hung out with the gang from Futurama. That was great. Tie-ins usually don't have a lot to do with the main story. For example, during the Batman Zero-Year story arc, Action Comics and The Flash had zero-year tie-ins. But all they really were stories where they mentioned what was going on in Batman. Tie-ins are typically a lot like annuals in their relevance to the main story. It's cool background info, but if you don't read it, you'll probably be alright. Simpsons-wise, a good tie-in would be like the time whenever Peter Griffin mentioned The Simpsons on a Family Guy episode. Last, we have graphic novels. Now, graphic novels and trade paperbacks are similar, but there is a difference. Like I said earlier, trades are a collection of a continuing series or storyline. Graphic novels, on the other hand, are a hard or soft-covered book which tells a closed-ended story. So graphic novels can be a little bit longer, and sometimes are released in one book, like example, Batman or Superman Earth 1. Oftentimes, graphic novels are released in comic book or volume 4, like in the case of Kingdom Come. After all these issues have been released, it is then bound into one book, a graphic novel. Some of the more popular graphic novels over the last 30 years have been The Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen, and V for Vendetta. As far as The Simpsons go, graphic novels are like the movie, a major, closed-ended story. So there you have it, the issues of comics. We here at Imperius Arcs really want to help others as they submerge themselves into this nerd culture. So please let us know what you thought of this video by giving us a huge thumbs up. Comment below and share with us your favorite way to read issues. Do you prefer singles, or do you wait for the trades? You can also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And until next time, I'm going to watch a few episodes of my favorite show of all time, The Simpsons.